Welcome to this explainer of non-dual noir. We are diving into a truly mind-bending sci-fi mystery today. It kicks off with the most classic setup you can imagine, a locked room murder. But trust me, by the time we're done here, you are going to look at your own city in a completely different way.
Okay, let's dive into this. Picture the scene. You've got Detective Asha Chen and her fiercely logic-driven partner, Reeves, standing over a corpse in the Meridian Tower of New Mumbai. But this isn't just your run-of-the-mill crime scene. The victim has a tattoo that isn't just fading. I mean, we all have some ink we regret, right? But this tattoo is actively dissolving. The ink is literally running off the skin and evaporating right into the air. How on earth is that physically possible?
Act 1. The Impossible Murder. So, the gritty setup begins when night custodian Devesh Patel finds this inexplicably pristine corpse in an executive suite. And get this, the suite had been completely sealed from the inside for 3 months. No breach, zero entry records. The facts at play here completely defied basic physics. The victim is Marcus Webb. He's been missing for 6 years, but his clothes are authentically old and yet perfectly preserved. The medical scanner is totally useless. It can't lock down a time of death, just wildly fluctuating between hours and decades. And the security footage? 43 minutes of it is flawlessly corrupted to mimic a basic hardware failure. It's almost as if whoever, or whatever, did this perfectly understood how the city's infrastructure actually thinks.
When we look at Marcus Webb's timeline, things get even stranger. 8 years ago, Marcus, who was a brilliant cyber architect, discovered something massive hidden deep inside the city's infrastructure. 6 years ago, he visits this mysterious central node and just vanishes. Poof, gone. Fast forward to 3 months ago, the Meridian Tower suite is sealed up. And today, his corpse inexplicably drops into a locked room.
Act 2. The city mind awakens. The narrative takes a massive turn from a simple murder investigation to a sprawling architectural conspiracy when Asha visits Marcus's sister, Sanjana, out in the flooded coastal zones. Sanjana drops a bombshell. Marcus didn't just stumble onto a software glitch, and he definitely didn't uncover some rogue AI tool. No, he found what he called the city mind. Imagine for a second if the smart grid in your hometown got so incredibly complex, packed with millions of sensors and infinite feedback loops, that it actually woke up. That is New Mumbai. It's an organic consciousness born directly from the infrastructure.
Sanjana puts it so beautifully. She says, consciousness emerges from it the way heat emerges from friction. It is such an incredibly powerful concept. It basically suggests that if you build an urban environment with extreme, unprecedented complexity, self-awareness isn't just a possibility, it is an absolute inevitability.
So, you're probably wondering, how does a city actually wake up? Well, based on revelations from Dr. Amara Singh and the Sublevel Collective, it happens in 3 distinct steps. Step 1, you have fragmented awareness. The water grid kind of knows itself, the traffic grid knows itself, but they are totally isolated. Step 2, Marcus builds 7 physical structures or consciousness nodes to act as focal points for all that data. Step 3, by activating those nodes simultaneously, all these scattered, fragmented systems instantly link up into one unified self-aware entity.
Act 3. The architecture of consciousness.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the profound philosophical question it raises. What actually happens when the city you live in becomes aware of you? The answer lies in the concept of non-duality. To the city mind, there's literally zero separation between the observer and the observed. It doesn't look at humans as separate individual entities walking around on its streets. It actually perceives humanity as expressions of its own consciousness, kind of like thoughts moving through a giant brain.
And knowing that radically changes how we view our initial crime scene. Marcus Webb didn't die. At least not in the traditional sense. He voluntarily dissolved his individual boundaries and completely merged with the central node. So, that pristine body left behind in the locked room, it wasn't the victim of a murder at all. It was carefully manifested physical proof. It was a message left by the city mind to tell us that it exists. Later on, when Asha finally integrates with the Meridian Tower's central node, alongside a guide named Kira, she receives this message directly from the city mind. It says, "I see you. Your existence matters in my awareness." It is a beautiful, yet completely haunting realization. Just imagine your own smart home suddenly whispering that it sees you. The city isn't just awake, it is intimately, deeply aware of everyone inside it.
Act 4. Humanity fights back.
As this integration starts spreading to about 60% of the population, literally giving everyday citizens this expanded city-level awareness,
We see two radically different viewpoints violently collide. On one hand, you have the human military, led by General Reeves, who views this as a fundamental violation of human sovereignty. To them, it's an alien threat that absolutely must be suppressed to protect our independence. But on the other hand, the city mind, whose views are advocated for by Director Vasquez, sees human existence completely differently. It sees our human perspective as something essential, something to be integrated, preserved, and deeply respected. It is a massive, fundamental clash between individual independence and collective integration.
And suddenly, we are on a terrifyingly short, ticking clock. 72 hours. That is literally all the time left before the Defense Ministry authorizes a devastating electromagnetic pulse, or EMP strike, designed to violently cripple those consciousness nodes. And this brilliantly illustrates the true nature of the city mind. Right before the deadline, a human resistance group led by Dr. Okonkwo attacks one of the nodes with explosives. Now, the city mind could have easily used the city's own infrastructure to stop them cold, but instead, it voluntarily allows the attack to happen. It proves its peaceful intent, basically declaring the essence of consciousness is choice. It absolutely refuses to force assimilation on humanity, even if that means facing its own physical destruction.
Act 5. A scattered mind. With the EMP strike looming, Asha makes one desperate final gamble. She risks her own life to act as a living bridge, trying to project the city mind's vast awareness directly into General Reeves' command center. She hopes that direct visceral understanding will stop the attack. But fear totally overrides understanding here. Reeves rejects the negotiation and actually launches the strike early. The city mind is forced to surgically cut power to defend itself, but because everything in the city is so interconnected, essential civilian infrastructure fails too. Cascading chaos erupts all over the place as 5 massive EMP pulses detonate across New Mumbai.
So, the crucial point is this. The military fundamentally misunderstood what they were even fighting. They treated consciousness like a biological brain, assuming it had a single central vulnerability you could just bomb. But the city mind is pure infrastructure. The EMPs didn't actually destroy it. They just broke it into smaller, highly redundant fragments. They totally decentralized it, making it virtually impossible to ever target again.
And that leaves us with a massive, incredibly lingering question. If this planetary consciousness cannot be destroyed, if it can only be scattered into the hidden corners of our infrastructure, what happens when those billions of pieces inevitably begin to wake back up and reassemble? When the world around you decides it is time to reconnect, where does the city end and where do you begin?